What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Shay Renee, and we are back to talk about Zatima Season 2, Episode 19 and 20. And, y'all, all I can say is RIP Gladys. Let's just get into it, shall we?
Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, go on with it. Do us. So we are coming in with a force. Yes, blessings they are reap and we going on.
All right, y'all. So, episode 19, titled Dear Mama. The episode opens up where Zach and Fatima are still at the hospital. Now, this episode really just brings it all to perspective where Zach is kind of coming to terms with his feelings about his mother and his brother, their addiction problems, his life growing up, just basically that clinginess that he has with Fatima. I think Fatima is starting to see where all of that stuff is coming from. But what I really want to pinpoint in this episode is that, I want Zach to get the help that he needs, one, but two, I want him to identify his love for Fatima outside of his mother. And I get it. Your childhood is a big influence on what you do in your adulthood. And sometimes it can trigger you to do certain things in your adulthood that you never thought you would come from your childhood. But I feel like some of the things that Zach is doing, it has to be accompanied with him acknowledging that he is just acting like a plumb fool sometimes. And it don't have anything to do with his mother and his brother. It just has to do with the choices that he's making as a grown man. But in this moment, Fatima is there to console him. He's happy about that. He's happy that she's there to help him through his time of need. So the doctor comes out to tell Zach his mom is on life support and she's basically a vegetable at this point. Like the machine is breathing for her. She's not breathing on her own. Like the machine is literally helping her to even still be present. But there's no brain activity because she's lost too much oxygen to her brain. So the doctor explains to him that there's a slim chance that she'll make it because she isn't breathing on her own. The machine is basically doing it for her, and the doctor needs Zach and his brother to make a decision about taking her off the machine. So Jeremiah is there, and he gets upset saying they aren't taking her off the machine, and they aren't going to kill his effing mama. And if she was a WP, they would do all they can to save her, and they just in there trying to kill her and yelling at Zach saying, he don't want him to go back there and see the mama. Because the doctor was like, Zach was like, can I see her? And the doctor was like, sure you can. And he was like, you can't see my effing mama. I'm like, Jeremiah, you don't want him to go back there to see her, but you want him to pay the bill. Make it make sense. I don't understand. Like Jeremiah, well, you know what? Listen, I guess when you doing that candy coated white stuff, you don't understand reality. I don't know what his drug of choice is, by the way, but he doing something that's making the brain cells not work right. So the doctor says she's going to call security if Jeremiah doesn't cut it out. And Fatima tells her that she should. And Jeremiah says FUB to Fatima. And then his immediate reaction is to steal the hell out of Jeremiah. So he punched out of Jeremiah and almost knocked his tail out. And so Zach immediately gets upset with himself because he's like, Jeremiah, like, dang, man, why'd you make me do that? And it's like, Zach, you have all of this immediate need to protect Fatima, but it's like a codependency that both of them have on each other that's absolutely weird. Like, even with Fatima, as we go further into this episode, where her immediate reaction is to go and try to trick Jeremiah into signing the paperwork. Even though it makes sense for him to sign the paperwork, her immediate reaction is to protect Zach in a way behind his back. First of all, she never tells him the plan. She never tells him the things that she's doing to so-called help him. She always doing some sneaky stuff behind the scenes to fix stuff for him. But Zach is very forthcoming with his emotions, and his most evident emotion is anger. So he's quick to anger. He punches his brother because his brother done call his girl a B, and he like, listen, I done just got her back in my good graces, and now you over here talking smack. I can't have you talking to my girl like that. So, and Jeremiah doesn't understand it because they're both literally a ball of emotion right now because of what's going on with their mother, despite the tumultuous relationship that obviously both of them have had with the parent. So moving on, the doctor says, well, if you didn't do it, security probably would have done it anyway. Basically saying if Zach ain't knocking his ass out, security would have came in there and did it anyway. So Zach goes in the back to see his mom, and Fatima ends up going back there with him. Zach cries, saying if he knew giving her the money would have done this, he wouldn't have done it. Like basically, feeling sorry for himself about the whole money situation. Here's the thing. Zach's mom is grown. She has a problem. You know that she has a problem. But I think that in Zach's mind, I think he overlooked the addiction because he's thinking to himself, I'm trying to be a good son. I'm trying to help my family. I did promise my mother this money because I wanted her to come to this therapy session to help my girl understand why I am the way that I am. So basically, really, a lot of it was a selfish thing on Zach's part because you know that your mother has a problem. Yes, I believe Zach did want to get help, but ultimately, all in all, you just did all of this because you wanted to get Fatima back, not because you really and truly want to heal and move on. Because every single thing that comes out of your mouth is, okay, can we get back together now? Okay, are we going to be together now? Because you have these serious abandonment issues where you don't want anybody to leave you because that's what your mother did. And now you're at that crossroads where your mother is going to leave you possibly for good this time. And he's having to deal with all of these emotions now with the mom now laying here in this bed in the hospital. So he says that he's talking to his mom and he's like, you've caused me a lot of pain, but I just wanted you to love me and choose me, but you were too selfish, saying that to Gladys while she's in the hospital bed. And he says he's trying not to be mad at her, but he can't stop being mad at her. And then he says he has to let her go because he can't keep carrying around the hurt and the pain. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of us carry hurt and resentment for certain things that have gone on in our lives that we wish we could have done better with, or people in our lives that we wish would have treated us better, or we wish they would have gave us some reciprocity in the love or the kindness that we've extended to them, but they didn't necessarily give it back to us the way that we wanted it. When you're dealing with somebody that is held down by an addiction like Matt, Zach's mother, it's challenging because you're dealing with somebody where a substance is basically taking over their bodies, taking over their minds, and dictating everything that they're doing. And their every waking thing that they're doing every day is bent around, how can I get more of this substance, because my body is going to ache and hurt me if I don't continue to do this. Addiction is real. It's very, very real. But Zach, I think that you are addicted to turmoil. You've made yourself addicted to that. Like him and Fatima are like hooked on drama. It's real sad if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. So moving on, the billing lady comes in as they're talking and trying to sort through Zach's emotions with his mama. The bill lady, Gloria, comes in there talking about, I'm so sorry. This is Mr. whatever his name, Taylor, we're gonna need to have a discussion about the, she was getting ready to go into talking about it, and Zach is like, can you please just go talk to her or whatever, tells Fatima to go talk to her. So Fatima goes out in the hallway to talk to this lady, and the lady's like, I know this is a really hard time, and this is probably a bad time, but yeah, if she stays on the life support, yeah, it's going to be basically, it's going to be $18,000 a day. And, if she stays tomorrow, it's going to be $36,000. And by the way, you're already $18,000 in the hole because your check didn't clear. It bounced. I'm like, lady, they don't bit more do nothing like this in the Man in the Moon. Tyler Perry I'm convinced that Tyler Perry be in the grocery store, or he just be picking up his cleaners, and he just be like, you know what? You know what? I got a tip for you. I'm gonna give you a part in one of my shows. Yes, indeed. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a part. It's gonna be a small part. Okay. You got to make something out of it. If the crowd likes you, we'll bring you back. So I'm like, I'm really convinced he saw Gloria at the sandwich counter, and he said, you know what? I really like the way you put that mayo on that bread. I got a part for you. Come on down to the Zatima set, and I'm going to make you Gloria. Okay? Ciao. Okay, Tyler Perry. But Gloria asking for the bill, which don't nobody never do that in no hospital, asking for the bill the same day because somebody don't got no damn insurance. No, they gonna send the bill to the next of kin or whoever they think gonna pay the bill. That's what they gonna do. And you're gonna get that in about 7 days. That's what you're gonna do. 7 business days. Hell, they might even get it there faster, express. Okay. Moving on. So basically, Gloria says if they can't pay, they need to make a decision, and because they need the bed. She heard that the nurse is saying that they need some more space in the hospital. So basically, you ain't got to go to heaven and go home, but you got to get your mother up on out of here. Okay, you got to make a decision. And she gonna need to. I'm gonna need to see her at the crossroads real quick. She gonna need to catch them pearly gates, because we needs the bed for somebody that got some insurance. So Fatima is like, girl, what the girl, what? And Jeremiah says Zach said he'll pay. Jeremiah tells this lady that Zach said he'll pay for it. So Fatima tells Gloria she'll talk to Zach. I'm like, lady, who comes and basically y'all just basically trying to force him to go ahead and take her off life support. Hold on, y'all. I don't know why I clicked that. I was trying to click y'all comments. Let me see. Oh, wow. Y'all is in here. A bit say when it says, Shay, what's up? What's up? How you bees? Sweet P7424 says, hey, Shay, Renee, and chat. What's up? What's up? Shan says, hey, Shay, Renee, and chat. How you be, Shan? What's going on? A bit say when it says, yes, he was being selfish when he brought Fatima to the counseling session. Yes, I believe he was being selfish too, because it's like, sir, are you really trying to heal, or you just trying to get Fatima back in your bed? That's what I felt like. Abiste Winner says exactly. Zach does have addiction issues as well. Sometimes it runs in families. Yeah, I believe so. He's addicted to Fatima at this point. Like, he latches on to people, and he needs to learn how to deal with his attachment issues. Abiste Winner says he actually said, "Can you talk to my wife?" I hate it when men call women their wives before actually wifing them up. Period. I can't stand it. Don't give me a title when you're not giving me the actions. You're not. Because Zach, you think you're slick. You did go over there to have sex with Connie. You did. So it's like, 1 minute you all about Fatima. You done grabbed up your crackhead mama and brother to come and show her that you're doing the work in therapy. But you lied to her and told her that you slept with somebody that you didn't really sleep with. It's the childish immaturity of it all. It's crazy. Abiste Winner says that white pill lady would have got beat up. Right. Child, that's why that position don't exist, because ain't nobody about to be doing that. Your family member is about to catch the pearly gates, and you over here talking about a bill. Girl, bye. What I'm gonna do? Pay it right now, please. And that's not gonna bring them back. If she gonna be gone, then what you want me to do? That's even more reason for me to not pay it. A bit stay winner says exactly that bill lady is not an actress. Heck no. Sweet Pizza 724 says I've been in healthcare for 15 years. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Right. Tyler Perry would just be making up shit. He just be making it up, child. A bit say when it says it's a Tyler Perry production, you liable to see anything. And that you will. You absolutely right. A bit say when it says exactly nobody does that in the hospital. They won't be that insensitive then trying to collect the funds. Right. It makes absolutely no sense. But child, like y'all said, this TV, okay? Moving on, Bryce, in the next scene, Bryce is all distraught saying he needs to talk to Zach because his credit card got declined and his assets are frozen because of his business with Zach, and he wants to know what Zach did. Angela tells him Zach's mom is in the hospital, and she says, I'll call Fatima, but I don't really know what's gonna come of that. So she calls Fatima, and she doesn't have the heart to tell Fatima because she finds out that Zach's mom is indeed on life support at this point. And Angela tells Bryce what's going on, and he don't give a damn. He don't give a damn. He says, listen, I need to talk to Zach. What hospital are they at? I'm like, wow. Wow, Bryce. Like, you can, and I hate to say this, and I hope that I don't sound, it's just the truth. WPs, which Asians, in my opinion, sort of fall into that category for me because I don't think that they've had to struggle financially. Typically, they come from generational wealth as well. And I don't know what Bryce's, I don't know what his background is supposed to be on the show, but it's given very WP ish energy. Like, I don't ever have to struggle through anything. And the minute that I see any type of struggle or strife in my life, somebody got to pay for it. And it's not my fault. Somebody better fix it. I'm used to having money and I'm not going to go without. I don't give a damn if Zach's mother is getting ready to enter the pearly gates. Before she walked through the door, make sure that my cards are open back up. I'm like, sir, Bryce, you've done the most. You kissed the man on the lips and you basically harassed him. Then you're trying to go up here and harass him, asking him about some money at the hospital when his mother is on life support. How insensitive can you be? That's how you know when people sometimes I just wonder what it's like to be a WP where you can just walk around the world, la 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 la, no care in the world, walk across the street without looking both ways because you just know because you a WP, but nobody bet not hit you because you gonna sue and take them for everything they got. And your grandmother's grandmother's mother had $1 million and they all invested it and brought it down to where you got money and y'all gonna have generational wealth too. So these people bet not mess with you because cash is king for the WPs. But not in this situation because Bryce can't use his. So he gonna go up there trying to figure out what's going on. So, child, unbelievable. Angela tells Bryce, listen, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm not about to tell you what hospital they at because what you're not about to do is have me brought up in the middle of this stuff. So he says he understands what's going on. He's sad about what's happening for Zach, but he's never been in a situation like this before. Bingo. So he doesn't know what to do. Ask a Black person. That's what you do. Ask us how we survive every day. Maybe we can help handhold you a little bit, help you out. I'm pretty sure you probably are going to run to the nearest Black friend that'll probably give you $20 to hold you over until you figure out where your damn money at. Because that's what we always do. Have everybody else's back when nobody got ours. Child, but that's the story for another day. Angela tells him to calm down and she says, you need a drink. Let me go get you a drink. Here you go. The black woman consoling the man, bringing him a drink because his life is over because he couldn't pay for his dinner. Woe is me. But you know what? That whole situation was weird because if it's just the funds that you have with Zach, right, for your business, why would your personal accounts be held up? And if you had another account at another bank somewhere, which I'm pretty sure is Bryce being an investment person like he is, I'm pretty sure he had accounts somewhere else or a debit card somewhere else where he had money. So that whole money transfer situation just didn't make any sense, period. But moving on, Zach and Jeremiah are in the room with their mom, and he again says this is all Zach's fault. Jeremiah is just telling Zach it's his fault and blah, blah, blah. And Zach says, he has money. He can take care of the bills. He doesn't care about, Zach, no, Jeremiah says, Zach, you got money. You can take care of the bills. Just go ahead and pay for it. You don't care about her. That's what it is. And he says he isn't signing anything and he wants to let their mom live. Zach says this isn't how anyone should live, Jeremiah. She isn't alive for real. Like the machines are doing everything. And Zach begins asking Jeremiah when their mom's checks come because he feels like Jeremiah just wants to keep the mother alive so that he can get her monthly checks that she has coming in. I guess she gets a disability check or social security or whatever. And Jeremiah says that's basically not true. He's like, I want my mama. I ain't worried about no money, basically. But Zach just kept on talking about Jeremiah being high. He's like, Jeremiah, you're high. And this. And I was like, these filler lines are just it's not doing what it needed to do. It's not giving what it needed to give. Like, clearly we know that he's an addict. You don't have to keep on talking about him being high. Obviously, he's not overly high right now where he can't have a legitimate conversation and he can't express emotions. He's having emotions, obviously, over his mother because he loves her. And he's sad at what's happening. He's losing somebody that he feels like cares for him. And in Jeremiah's sick mindset, him and his mama getting high together, that was a way for them to build camaraderie. That was a way for them to bond. That was the way that they got along. He decided you can't beat them, join them. The mother will run off and leave them. So I guess Jeremiah may have become an addict. In my opinion, maybe he became an addict to feel like that was a sense of closeness with his mother. Like, okay, well, she's leaving me all the time. Maybe if I become an addict with her, then at least I can be with her when she's doing this stuff and I won't be alone. It's just really, really sad. So in the next scene, Tony and Nathan arrive in the waiting room and Fatima tells them Zach's mom isn't going to make it. And Nathan proceeds to apologize to Fatima and plead his case, talking about I didn't know about all this stuff with Belinda. I didn't have nothing to do with that account. And Nathan, I always have an imaginary line that I draw for people that I don't like for people to cross. Okay. And I'm a hugger. I will say that. I'm a very, I'm a very affectionate person, right? But when I don't like you, I don't even want you to breathe a corner of my air. Like, I don't even want to smell that you're around. I don't even want to feel that you're standing next to me. Like, this is too much. Nathan want to be trying to hug Fatima. He's he is, and Tony said it, he's an habitual line stepper. He's always overdoing it. And it's like, sir, this seems entirely too much. Like, seriously, what is your problem? Why do you got to be all up in people's space? It's too much. So Tony, he keeps on talking, saying, I'm just trying to apologize to her. I'm just trying to, hug her and do this, that, and the word. I knew she was a good woman. And, all them other women that Zach was messing with, all they knew how to do was suck a good D. I'm like, oh my God. Why is that what you say to somebody when your friend is in here basically mourning their mother? And this is what you out here talking about? Nathan, please grow up. Please. He is so immature. I can't stand it. So the doctor comes up and Zach asks if they really did everything they could do. And she says, yes, we absolutely did. Zach, what did you think the doctor was going to say? Did you think she was going to say, actually, there was this one time where we probably could have saved her, but, we just said, you know what? We ain't going to do it. No. Of course she's going to say they did everything they could to save her. Who told you to say that in your lines? Like, seriously? So then the doctor again proceeds to talk about how him and Jeremiah need to sign the paperwork because nobody basically has power of attorney at this point. So both of them have to make the decision and they really need to act quickly on this decision. So Zach and Fatima leave the hospital and arrive back at his house, and Deja is outside with her neck brace on, faking the funk, talking about paying how she gonna have to pay her rent late. Deja's role in this show is just really like we don't really need her anymore. Like we never really needed her, right? Like why? I feel like she's supposed to be the comedic relief character. Kind of like if y'all watch Bruz, like how the guy's mother is on there, which I think she's totally obnoxious. Like that's why I don't watch Bruz anymore, because the one of the Bruz, that's his mother, and she is just too overly vulgar. I just can't. It's too much. The character doesn't even make any sense, and for him to be her only child, the way that she acts, it's not maternal at all. The maternal instincts just don't exist, so I don't watch that show. But anyway, Deja's character kind of gives me overly obnoxious, like the mother and in Bruz. And I'm just like, we don't really need Deja's character anymore. Let Deja go and do the show that she's doing. She has a show on BET actually that's very good, by the way. I can't remember the name of it, but it's only 4 episodes. And I wish that they would put more episodes with it. I was like, now this is a good show. And I think Tyler Perry is actually producing that too. But y'all, also, this is a side note. I believe the writer's strike, don't quote me, is ending. Like they are coming to conclusions now, coming to some decisions now, prayerfully. Okay. So hopefully they can come to make some decisions soon so some of our favorite shows can come back on TV and we can have some stuff to watch outside of reality TV, child. But moving on, and maybe we can get all the Queen's Men back. I would love that. Hopefully he gets some writers for that show too, or give it back to Christian Keys. But that's a side note. So moving on, Fatima and Zach go inside the house because they ignoring Deja, and because she over there faking because she trying to sue Fatima. So Fatima and Zach go inside, and Zach tells her all he wants is her, and he wants to go to her house and get her things so they can bring them back to the house. And I'm like, your mother is on her deathbed basically, and all you worrying about is going and getting Fatima's stuff to bring her back to your house. Like this is just, it's given very manipulative. Like, Zach, you gotta organize your thoughts and emotions here, sir. Like this is just team too much. It's team too much. Like that's not what you need to be thinking about right now. You and Fatima, of course, I get it. You love her, you want to be with her, all that good stuff. But for you to be 1 minute you thinking about, oh my gosh, my mother, my mother, my mother, I feel like you are just really leaning into it more because you're using that as a sympathy tactic to reel Fatima back in. Now, I don't doubt that he's sad that his mother is, ultimately getting ready to depart this life. And I think it's just one of those things where it's like in the back of your mind, like, yeah, my mother's still around, you know, at least I know she's still around. Despite what she's doing, she's still around. But now you're not going to have that. My mother's still around anymore. So crazy. Well, moving on. Zach keeps talking about, she tells Zach he should talk to Dr. Reed for him to be able to process everything and process all his emotions. And Zach keeps talking about Jeremiah trying to get his mom's checks and how Fatima is going to make a great mom and he will be a great dad. He can't wait till they are parents together and he's going to be a better father than he's been. And they say their niceties, I love yous, and Angela and Bryce show up, and Deja sees them outside, and she's of course flirting with Dan Bryce. Now, Bryce, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you coming, she's talking about, oh, you want to come over here with me? And he's like, maybe, I don't know. Okay, I'll get your number, maybe. I don't know. Bryce, go in the house. Because first of all, you ain't got no money. And that's what she wants. Okay. Deja is about the coins, the checks and the balances. Okay. You better have a check and she gonna balance on that D to get it. Okay. That's all she worrying about. So you, sir, you don't even need to look that way. Bryce is just some off about sir. He is very, he's not self-aware. He's very aloof. Like I don't know. But anyway, Angela and Bryce come in, and Bryce is pressed to break the news to Zach that their accounts are frozen, even though Angela told him not to. Bryce is just like, listen, I don't give a good goddamn about what's going on. I need my money. Okay. So Zach goes and checks the accounts, and because Bryce is basically coming in there also very accusatory, because remember, Bryce said, what did Zach do? So he's coming over there thinking he's trying to figure out what Zach did, because there's got to be Zach that did this. Like, you ain't make a phone call to figure out what's going on, nothing. But Zach calls the bank and finds out, first of all, he did it in like 2 minutes, which was very weird. I'm like, okay, that was quick. So Zach basically finds out that the accounts are overdrawn because apparently for whatever money they needed for this deal or whatever. Now, first of all, I thought it was a $500,000 deposit. So if Zach has $1.5 million, right? And whatever money from your business account draws from your personal account, it shouldn't have been overdrawn. The funds should have been fulfilled, right? I'm not the best in math, but 500,000 is less than $1.5 million. So that means you should still have $1 million in your bank account, because that's what she said it costs to buy in 500,000. I don't know, but that's what I remember. But anyway, whatever the situation is, Bryce wrote a check, which I don't understand how you can just have a blank check to write however much money you want on it and think that that's not somehow against the law, because people goes to jail for that. Okay, people goes to jail for writing bad checks. And Bryce, that's basically what it sounded like you was doing. So from what Bryce is saying, apparently he was supposed, the bank said it was okay. He was supposed to write the check for the business from the business account. And my thing is, if Zach didn't agree with this, Bryce, first of all, why would you be writing a check from y'all shared account or from y'all business account? But all in all, he says that Gary was supposed to put the money in the account or whatever to fulfill the transaction, which makes no sense, because why would Gary go and put money in the account to help y'all pay for something? Unless, and then if that's the case, why you didn't just ask Gary to invest in the project with you, since he got so much money? And then later on in the episode, we find out that he goes and gets the money from his father. Why didn't Bryce just ask his father for the money in the beginning? It makes no sense. This is just, child. Tyler Perry needs to stop doing stuff with banks, because he don't know what the hell he talking about. Toya Maureen says it was a $6 million deal. Oh, okay. So you saying that he probably wrote the check for $6 million? That's weird though, because why would I write a check for $6 million right now in the project? The ground hasn't even really broken yet on the project. Like, typically you want to write checks like that in stages, especially if it's an investment. But child, I don't know. Abiste Winning says, but I thought that Gary was also investing in the project. That's why he said that Gary pulled out. So he expected Gary to deposit the funds. Yeah, he said something about Gary was supposed to put the money in the account. That's what he said. Let me see if I wrote it correctly as to how Bryce said it. Zach checks the accounts, finds out that his accounts are overdrawn, and he finds out Bryce moved forward with the deal and wrote a check for the business account that he thought would be covered, but it wasn't. And Gary was supposed to put money in the account, and he didn't. That's what he was saying. Yep. Come to find out, he pulled out of the deal last minute and didn't tell Bryce. Bryce and Angela leave, and Zach is pissed because now he's broke again. And Fatima says she has his back and will help him. Zach says he doesn't want that and won't need it. Fatima encourages him to get some rest instead of going to the hospital. So apparently Gary he basically screwed the pooch. He was supposed to put the money in, and he was supposed to basically invest in the property with Bryce, and he didn't put the money in. So since he pulled out, now the money is now somehow coming out of Zach's account, which I thought was really weird, because I'm still like, Bryce, why would you write a check from you and Zach's business account? And why would Gary be the one coming to put money in y'all account? It's weird. But child, I don't know. Bryce is at Angela's house, and Fatima encouraged him to get some rest instead of going to the hospital. Bryce is at Angela's house, and he tells her he thinks he has a way to fix it all. So he calls his dad to borrow the money from him. And I say, why didn't he do that in the beginning? Like, why you didn't borrow the money from your father in the beginning for this project? Why did you feel the need to go to Zach? This minute that Zach said no, if you felt so strongly about this project, then you should have went on and got the money from your dad in the first place. That's all I'm saying. So Angela calls Fatima to tell her she thinks Bryce can fix it, because Bryce basically tells Angela he feels like he has a way to get the money. So I think his dad at this point done told him, yes, he gonna pay for it. So Fatima says good and tells her she's going to the hospital to talk to Jeremiah to talk to him about signing the papers pertaining to their mom's life support. So Angela's like, you need me to go with you? And Fatima was like, no, I got this. So Fatima goes to the hospital to talk to Jeremiah about their mom not being able to live in her current state, and basically saying it's not fair for somebody to have to live like that. Like, would you want somebody to have you over here living like that? And, of course, Jeremiah gets all belligerent, um, because he's obviously distraught, and he reveals that he just wants his mom alive. He just wants her to be okay. He wants this to be over. He wants Zach to pay for it because he got it. And, he want his mama alive. He don't want his life to change drastically because now he feels alone. So Fatima is like, listen, I don't want to have to do this, but if we wanted to make Zach power of attorney, we could. All we have to do, I work at a law firm. All I have to do is have them drug test you, and you out of the game. And he's like, you really the type of B that would do something like that? And she was like, watch your mouth. In my Nicki Minaj voice, watch your mouth. Okay. Don't talk to me like that, because I can go get the court appointed P test right the freak now if you want to play with me. Okay. So then she gets him to calm down, and he eventually says, well, I'm not a bad person. Do you think I'm a bad person? Then he end up hugging Fatima, and she feels like now she done got Jeremiah on her side. So he basically comes to his senses, and they move on. So Zach gets a call from Bryce as he's at home, because Zach is supposed to be sleeping at this point, but I guess he wakes up. Zach gets a call from Bryce, and he tells him his dad will give him the money and everything will be straightened out. Fatima goes in the house and says she went out to run an errand because Zach was calling her, and he sees that she's not there, but then he noticed she pulls back up in the driveway. And so he's like, where the hell you been at? And she's like, well, I just had to go run an errand. What time of night is it? What time is it? Because remember, Fatima went to work at the ass crack of dawn because she had to clear her mind, child. She keeps on talking about clearing her mind. So she clearing her mind at the ass crack of dawn. Then did you get off work early? Because it's pretty late at night at this point. And y'all going to sleep, waking back up, going back to the hospital, talking to people, coming back, and you running the errand. What was you doing, Fatima? Girl, again, with the trickery and treacherousness behind the back. I'm like, why couldn't you just tell Zach, I'm going to go up here and talk to Jeremiah one-on-one? Zach was sending you to do everything else, to handle the bill, to do this and do that. Why you couldn't be honest with him and say, I'm going to go and try to talk some sense into your brother so we can get this done? Simple. With you being his wife and all. Child. So they're sitting there chopping it up. They begin talking about how she knew he was at Fatima comes in the house and says she went out and run an errand. They begin talking about, how did Fatima know that Zach was indeed at the hospital? And she says, believe it or not, Connie told me. And Zach was like, oh my gosh, her messy behind. Then Fatima says he should go talk to his brother because she knows, he might change his mind at this point. She feels like he's going to be on his side. And Zach was like, really? At this point, if I'm Zach, I would be like, girl, what did you do? Did you go up there and hang him over a building and say you better sign the paperwork? Like, what kind of way did you threaten him to make sure that he's on our side? Because, see, Fatima gives me not to be trusted, okay? But moving on, Zach gets a call as they're talking because Fatima's obviously confident because she done went on and tricked Jeremiah. So Zach gets a call from the hospital, and the doctor says that his mom went into cardiac arrest and she won't make it through the night, okay? So Zach and Fatima go to the hospital. Jeremiah is already in the room, and he says to let him know basically when the funeral and everything is going on. And then they share a quick little moment about the mom and flowers, where basically the mom was like, she probably wouldn't want no flowers. And Zach was like, yeah, remember when I brought her some flowers home from school? And she was like, yeah. She said they bad luck. She says, because when flowers die, that means there's something or someone in your life that went with it. And so they're sitting there reminiscing for a second. Then he says the only person that ever loved him is now gone. And Zach was like, man, what about your kids? Your kids love you. He was like, man, them kids don't love me. You don't love me. My kids, I don't have nothing. Everything I had was with my mama. And so I really do feel like Jeremiah had a codependency with his mom, and I feel like their addiction was something that helped him to be closer to her. So Zach says, man, Jeremiah, just don't be, going and hurting yourself and getting high. Like we can help you. Like we can get you some help. And Jeremiah was like, man, I don't need no help. He was like, you want to see somebody high? Yeah, I'm about to be high as a damn kite when I leave here. But by the way, I can't handle this. I'm going on and go home and do what I do. And come on by the house and get something. Mama got a box for you and she will want you to have it. And Zach's like, what is it? He's like, just come and get it. So Jeremiah leaves out and Zach begins to have, his final goodbyes with his mother. So he says his goodbyes and says, thanks, Gladys, for my life. And then he begins to say how he promises to be better for his kids and that he's going to do right by Fatima. I'm like, Zach, Gladys didn't care about whether you did right by Fatima. She didn't give a damn about Fatima. Gladys was worried about getting her money so that she can go get high. She wasn't worrying about how you treat nobody. All she was worrying about was how you treated her with your pockets. Sending your brother over there to trick you, saying that she was sick and this, that, and the third, because she knew that you still had a soft spot for her because you're her child. She was your mother. Manipulative. That's what she was. So your mother wouldn't give a good John Brown about what you got going on with Fatima. Period. That's just something that you want to do. That's something that you trying to show in front of Fatima that, oh, see, I love you. I'm talking about you on my mother, laying over my mother's deathbed. I'm still thinking about you. I'm just like, okay, I like Fatima too, but I just feel like not too much. You giving her too much right now. But moving on, they get in the car and Zach sees it's Zach goes over to his mother's house. And Fatima is downstairs outside waiting on him. And Connie walks up. So Connie says she can't believe that Miss Gladys is gone. And she asks when was the funeral. I'm like, girl, the lady just took a last breath. Now you already talking about the damn funeral. We ain't planning nothing. I ain't ordered no flowers yet that she don't want. I ain't picked out a casket. Like, girl, what? And Zach ain't got no money right now. So what you talking about? So Fatima was like, I'll let you know, when we plan all of that and things. So then Connie proceeds to say, man, Gladys was a trip. She was crazy and mad spicy, laughing and reminiscing over her. So Zach comes downstairs with this box that his mother had for him. And Connie thanks him for letting, she was like, I'm sorry about your mom. But thank you for letting me use your car and everything, and he thanks her for being there and they hug. Fatima is over there obviously looking salty, like she has an attitude. And I'm like, girl, come on. He is not, well, yeah, he was worried about that ghetto projectic heifer. But listen, if Zach is serious this time, which I guess he been serious all the other times they got in an argument and he tried to get back in. Hell, I don't believe neither one of these two. Moving on. They get in the car and Zach sees this VHS tape in the box. So he's like, how the hell am I supposed to see this video? So Fatima was like, we have a VHS tape player at the office, we're converting information or whatever. So they go to Fatima's office to look at the tape, and it's a video of Jeremiah and Zach as children playing on the playground. And his mom is there with them, seemingly having a good time, telling them she loves them and she wants them to always get along. So young Zach, I thought was so, oh my God. Their son Roro, I think his name is Roey. He is so adorable. He looks just like Zach, just like DeVal, basically, who is Zach. So that was perfect. And he said his little lines, like he did a good job. And I feel like, I wonder if in that scene, DeVal was really watching that tape for the first time, because I think that would help ignite emotion or get emotion out of him, because it really in real life was him being proud of his son getting his first role. But in reality, is for Zach, the character is sadness, because you see your younger self that you always felt was abandoned, and but you're having a good time with your brother. These are the good times where y'all are playing and y'all are none the wiser, but your mother is behind the scenes struggling. And now you see these innocent children that have to basically fend for themselves and grow up dealing with the sins of the mama. Okay? So the boys tell her they love her and she says it back. Okay. The mom records herself telling them she loves them, but she has to leave them, and saying she's sorry. Parenting is hard. And because young Zach, played by Roro, was asking why she crying. And she says it's because she thinks they deserve better than her. And so that's when the boys tell her they love her. She says it back. She tells them she loves them back. Then the mom records herself telling them she loves them, but she has to leave them, and saying she's sorry. Parenting is hard. And she's running off, waving goodbye to them. And then she says, I'll be back. And she says, I love y'all. So I'm like, dang, she would just leave and just come back whenever. How long was it taking for her to come back in these stints? And it's really sad to me, because there are children that really have to deal with this. They didn't ask to come here, and their parents are weighing their addiction heavier than their kids' lives. And sometimes the children are just a product of something that they did to get a hit. And I'm just like, why are we not taking these people's babies away from them as soon as they come out? Like, why are we even allowing these people to raise these kids? I don't know, but that's just another story for another day. So the video ends and Zach says, wow, she did love me. I don't remember any of that. And Fatima says, I know this isn't all you needed, but it's something. And so Zach says, I really judged her, but now I know she tried her best. No, she didn't. She didn't try her best, because trying her best would have been to try to get clean. Trying her best would have been not leaving her children on a playground for somebody to violate them, traffic them, or anything. Trying her best would be to get healthy and clean so that she can be a plausible citizen. She did not try her best. And your mother did not exhibit the behavior of somebody that loves her children because she didn't try her best. There is no way I'm going to be leaving I would never leave my son with anybody. Hell, I can count on one hand on how many family members I'm going to leave my damn son with. The only person my son going to be with for the most part is his daddy. And that's because we live together and we married or whatever. So, no, absolutely not. Your mama didn't try her best, Zach. Sorry for you. And then for you to be having this epiphany of, oh my gosh, like she really loved me. No, she didn't. You know what? I'm not going to say that. I feel like there is a possibility that Gladys loved her children. She very well could have loved them. But from what she was saying in therapy, how she talks to them, how she treated them, taking him to his possible dad and trying to drop him off. And yeah, you did this video of you saying that you love them or whatever, but where you get this camcorder from? I'm surprised she didn't take that with her and sell it. It's a lot of unanswered foolishness right here. That's what this is. But anyway, he says, Zach continues to say he wants to be a good dad and he wants to fix everything that she did wrong with his kid. And Fatima says, you will get the chance more than you know, and reveals that she is indeed pregnant with their child. They hug, and that's the end. Child. So I was not expecting, well, actually, I was expecting for her to be pregnant because when she told Angela, I got something to tell you later, and Angela was like, just tell me now. She was like, no. I said, oh, this BI is pregnant. But that lets me know that Karen's baby is not Zach's, because that's going to be too much. Why would we need for Karen's baby to be Zach's at this point? Like, now it's like, okay, Zach got all these kids all over the place. Like, this is just ultimate irresponsibility. And how are we going to integrate children into this show, having a baby and whatnot? Is Karen going to have even the slightest piece of a bump this season? Is Fatima going to have a bump? Like, how long is it going to be for Fatima to have a pregnancy bump? Child, I don't know what's to come in season 13 of Zatima. I mean, season 3 of Zatima. But I hope that it's cohesive. I hope that it makes sense. And I want to see less drama with Zach and Fatima. I want to see what's going on in the friends' lives. What is Tony doing outside of that barbershop? Do you finally get Deja out? How does this lawsuit go with her? Does Nathan and his wife figure it out and get back together? Is Angela gonna stop playing with Bryce and just go on and be a freak with him or whatever? Because she a freak though. Okay. And then what's gonna happen with crazy old the guy that was trying to get with Fatima? Child, I forgot his name. He wasn't even in these last 2 episodes. So many things that we can do outside of constantly having Fatima and Zach in some BS together or mad at each other. Paul, that was the man's name. We can get rid of Paul. We don't need Paul to come back because we ain't like Paul on that show, House of whatever. He was Tammy Roman's husband. I was like, oh my God, he is the worst. And he was the worst on here too, child. But anyway, y'all, that's my review for Zatima season 2, episode 19 and 20, I believe. Please comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. What do y'all predict for the next season? What do y'all want to see in the next season of Zatima? And how do you think that this is going to integrate into Sisters? And do you think that Karen's child is actually Zach's? So many questions, so many answers that we're going to be looking for. Well, October 2nd, I think that's when Sisters actually premieres. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else is watching this too. and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.